So in this video, she's kind of talking about how I don't know what she's talking about Taraji. That's none of my business. But I'm gonna just go off of what she's speaking on. And what got me was the part when she talked about how how you can forget how much of an asset you are. The fact that she brought up how Tyler Perry pays her. She basically saying that Tyler Perry pays her what she wants. You know, and that's how I mean, as women, that's how we get, like, when we be like, I can't take that. I feel a certain way about, like, when a person gives you money, or like recently when someone gave me money for my rent. I just was like, no, I can't take that, because we know how much we work for. We know how much work we put in, and we know, this person you shouldn't have to pay this, because, it's my situation. And we kind of get down on ourselves about, that person is trying to help us. I don't want to feel like, it's all about experience as well. The fact that I'm telling you, no, we got, experience, and I'm just like, I don't want to make it seem like, you're you're giving me this because of what happened then, or I don't want to, I don't want to make it seem as though, you have to, you know, do this, or, I don't want to take this, because I know how much I put in, and I don't want to make it seem as though you're giving me more than, sometimes it's just hard to ask for what you feel like. Maybe you deserve this. Maybe you deserve this. And sometimes it's hard to ask. It's hard to receive what you feel you deserve. So the fact that she wants, you know, the fact that he's giving her what she wants, it's like, here you go. Now's a chance to, you want this, right? This is how much you feel you deserve. And that's the thing. Like, we know we deserve what we are being handed. Like, we know what we want. And what we want is what we deserve. So it's like, when somebody is giving you what you deserve, you don't know how to take it. Because it's kind of like, oh my gosh, like, what's, like, I'm happy, but at the same time, it's just like, it's just like, you can be happy, and you can, you're surprised, and it's just like, you want to be good. I mean, you don't, it's like, in that moment, you don't feel like you should feel a certain way about it. But what gets to your head is that, you know, it's that maybe, I don't know, it's kind of weird, because you can feel a certain, like, you can feel good, and you can be like, you're taking the money, or what and whatnot. But it's just like, you're in that conditioned mindset to where, I can't take this. And you can be so far ahead in your life, and you can be like, I want to, I can take it. And you see, like, you've made it so far to where you can just be like, I can take it if I want to. I'm going, like, I can take it. But it's that conditioned mindset, that's the conditioned mindset of us feeling bad about taking something from somebody. This conditioned mindset can be you watching a whole bunch of movies. You watching a whole bunch of movies, or you going to, like, different classes, like, a lot of stuff that we just learned. That condition mindset is basically telling you, like, no, don't take this money. No, you where you're at right now is fine. If you want to receive any money, receive it the right way. If somebody want to hand something to you, why? Ask why. What is it for? Why is you doing me a favor? Why do you feel like I have to be treated so special other than everybody else? I want to earn my money the right way. You handing me this money is going to make it seem like you handing me this money is just like, I don't want to be treated like I'm better than anybody else. I got to earn it the right way, you know? So you giving me more would just make me feel kind of guilty. So it's just like, that's the conditioned mindset. That's the conditioned mindset. The non-conditioned mindset is like, once you're breaking out of that conditioned mindset, it's just like, you looking at the money, you receiving it, and you can accept it. You breaking out of the conditioned mindset is you accepting this for what it is, this moment for what it is, and you're like, oh my gosh, thank you. That's all I can really say is thank you, because I needed this help, and I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing for me, and you're just taking, you know, it's. But what she talked about is like, it kind of does make it seem as though I'm not as valuable, or it kind of gets in a way in a cultural judgment about the asset that you are. Are you actually this important person? Are you actually valuable in this area? The fact that they're handing you, it's easy for you to get this. You start to question yourself, like, am I receiving this because I'm valuable, or am I receiving this because they pity me, or am I receiving this because I'm valuable, or am I receiving this because just because, and when it's just because, it's just like, it's that favoritism. You feel like that, and anybody who has that favoritism, energy around them, is more so of, oh, you're spoiled, oh, you only getting this because you're not working for what you're getting. You're doing, I mean, you're getting treated that way because you're spoiled. you know you're not really putting in none of the work. You are being treated, unfairly. I mean, we're not being treated like you. You're being treated more. So yeah, something like that. How this person is getting treated is like kind of unfair to everybody else, and it seemed like they're not valuable. What they're doing is just like, it's extra. You're doing extra, so therefore you're just around just to be around. And here's some money. I'm gonna pay you, and I'm gonna throw you some money. Whatever you want, just for you to be around. Like, basically, it's kind of like a eye candy prostitute, if you want to say that. That's how I see it. But so yeah, you start to question your worth. It's just like, some people do get treated that way. They get treated like eye candy prostitution. Eye candy. You're just here for eye candy. They get treated in that way, and you start to think like, am I actually valuable? Am I actually an asset to this company? What can I do? And that's what I feel like you kind of need to separate yourself from that situation, because the fact that it's like the price tag is being put on you rather than you, and it's kind of like you can't even see your own worth at that point. So yeah, that's basically how I see that situation. And um, so when she spoke about that, yeah, about how Tyler Perry treats her and this and that, it's just like, what? That's kind of what hit me off guard. I'm like, hold up, that's kind of weird. But it's truth. That's just, I mean, she had every right to feel the way she's feeling. Like I said, it's not easy to take money from people, but breaking free from the conditioned mindsets, it does have you thinking. That's where you can think outside the box. As long as you're in that conditioned mindset, you're thinking inside of the box. But as soon as that's how you notice you're breaking free, is when you start thinking outside of the box, and you can easily take whatever is being handed to you without feeling any guilt or shame about it. Depending on where you are in your life, depending on what you believe in and stuff like that, you don't have to feel a certain way about what's being handed to you. Leave that to whoever gives you it. What they say, don't when you're a religious person or you're a righteous person, they tell you, don't question a gift that's being given to you. If it's being given to you and they want to give you something, I mean, they want to give you, what you're asking for, take it. This is a worldly, this world is, you know, they do what they want to do. They do what it's all about the world at the end of the day. This is where discernment comes in, I can say. Okay, so that's when discernment comes in. You'll be like, well, should I take this? Going from a regular person's life that's breaking through the conditioned mindset, to a righteous person's life that's breaking through the conditioned mindset. It's more of a choice in our matter. It's like, okay, you're handing me this money. It's a choice. I can take it or I cannot take it, because this can be the devil's seeds and this can be the God's seed. If God is giving it to you, you will know. If the devil is giving to you, you will know. In this case, we all know what it is. And it's like, you got to have discernment and you have to have discipline when people are handing you this type of money, and they're, it kind of seems weird or strange. This is where you have to have self-discipline and in righteousness. People of Christ, children of Christ, children of God, we have to have discipline. We can't just take that money. We can actually be like, no, turn around, walk away, because guess what? We're not attached to the world. So therefore, when somebody come at us with this money that don't make sense, we can turn away from it, because this money doesn't mean nothing to us. What means more than the money is the experience. What I'm doing for myself, what I can get out of it, you know, and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to decipher between, you know, this is where I used to actually get stuck when I was younger. Like, I used to wonder. I'm just like, when I was a baby in in Christ, I would say that's when I say when I was younger. I used to kind of just I used to get stuck, because it's like, how do you know if this is not, God handing you a blessing, or God handing you, and it, like, just like I said, like, God has a purpose or a reason behind, or a job and a mission. So what if this is God's mission too? Just because it's coming from, a different person, or it's coming from a different place, or this place is like, obviously I shouldn't touch this. Obviously, this isn't of God. I shouldn't take this. But how do you know it's not of God? Maybe this is somebody else sowing, into you, into your purpose. God has a plan for everyone, everything that happens in the world. So when this person is handing you this money, it's not on you to think like, oh, this isn't for me. This doesn't match. This doesn't line up to my plans. And I just feel like, God, this is not God of God, what God would do. Like, no one knows what God would do. So when this person is handing you this money, or handing you extra than you feel you should receive, or it seems just kind of weird that this person is giving you all of this extra, it's just like, you gotta think about it in a way that, I'm selfless to this situation. I'm gonna think selfless of what's going on. Put yourself in that mindset to where, okay, maybe this person is sowing seeds. Maybe I gotta take this and go, contribute to my life. Contribute in the best way that I can, and only do right by the money that they're giving me. Don't go out and splurge it and do this, that, and the third. Just like act like you got it like that. No, don't do none of that. Just be careful with what you receive. If you receive it in this way, be mindful. Do with the money responsibly. You know, because if you feel like you didn't earn it the right way, the best thing you can do is to be responsible with it. Do something to, do right by it, at least. Because you can't control what people give you, and you can't control what people, you don't know people's intentions, or their mind, or what they're thinking, or, their plan. You can't control none of that. You can't see,
despite the commitment
where they're going or where they're coming from. So the best thing you can do is just have a good heart, and just have discernment, and have discipline, to where if it don't seem right, don't take it.
And she may not be there
if
when
it does seem right, and that they're just helping
so
you,
don't put the weight of your
allow that person to help
world on
you.
a woman. Just love
Don't question
her
it
the
too
best
much.
that you can.
But overall,
Show
if it
her
don't
your power,
seem
that
right,
you'd be just fine without
don't
her,
take it.
and you'll be her favorite
That's all I can say. If it don't seem right, don't take it.
She doesn't want
you can
someone who
see
she
where
can
it's
control,
coming from in a way.
and she doesn't
before you take
want
it on,
someone
see this
to
person,
stare in her
you
soul.
kind of read
But if you
the person in a
can
way.
be
Like, if
still
it don't
in
seem
the eye
right,
of her storm,
I'll say it again. If it
then
don't
she'll
seem
be your number
right,
one fan.
don't take it. And that's all I can say. So yeah. That's all I have to say about this. And yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, be notified, share at your own free will.